Hey everyone, and welcome to another keyboard review video on my channel. First things first, no, this isn't the Keylab 88 Mark II. It's actually my baby grand piano. However, here are some sweet shots of the keyboard just in case you didn't know how beautiful it is. Now, this isn't a sponsored video. Arturia sent me this keyboard to review for a month, but I had to send it back. They didn't tell me what to say and didn't pay me. But as part of the video, they did give me a copy of V Collection 7. So if you'd like to see me make a video on that, then why not leave a comment below. Today, we're talking about the Keylab 88 Mark II. I'll also show you later on in the video how this board performed when I took it out on the road to 2 different performance environments. So let's dive in. There are some really great videos on the web already talking in depth about the features of the Keylab 88 Mark II. So I'm not going to waste your time by going through all those features. In fact, I'm going to link a video above which I think is amazing at describing the features. Right up there. The only differences between this and the smaller key versions, the 49 and the 61, are the keys, the general layout, and also the fact that this board you get included a music stand and an extra wrist which you can use for laptops or external hardware. The keys are great on this keyboard. They're not perfect in my opinion, but they're still great. I think the thing to remember here is that weighted keys are just like anything else, subjective. Get yourself to a shop and test this board out to see how you feel when you play it. Moving on, the pitch bend and mod wheels on this board are such an upgrade. They're actually made out of metal now and in a much better position as well. Talking about the layout, I think the whole layout of this keyboard now is completely better. Like, what an upgrade, just brilliant. Keys players are generally right-handed and the most intensive parts they play are on the right hand, unless you're a boogie woogie player. This does leave the left hand available to be grabbing pads, faders, transport knobs and controls in real time. Now, I had the opportunity to take this keyboard out for a spin on 2 performances around Christmas time. The first was a set of 4 gigs where I was the MD to a live band for 4 sets of choirs. I wanted to force myself to use Analog Lab and Ableton Live because that's what you get when you buy this keyboard. On top of that, you also get a copy of Piano V, Whirly V and Vox Continental V. And let me tell you, these plugins do not disappoint. I was so happy with how these sounds worked on the gig, and also with how well the keyboard integrated with my laptop. I was running stems, my own keys sounds, click, guide, and effects as well. It was really easy to program the board to my own needs by using the MIDI control center to set up my own user template. The second gig was actually at my church, where I ran a much simpler setup. This was much easier on my laptop, thankfully, because it's getting on for 7 years old now and to be honest is struggling with tougher tasks. I did still force myself to use only the Analog Lab sounds though, okay? It was much easier on my laptop this time because I wasn't running any stems, so I was able to use the faders to control the individual sounds that I had set up. I had Piano V on the first fader, pads on the second, Whirly V on the third, and then I loaded up some ambient pads on the fourth, some riser effects on the fifth, and finally I had the click track on the sixth fader. Great integration. Both gigs were so much fun to play the Keylab at, and to be honest, I really wish I hadn't had to give it back. So Arturia, if you've got a spare one lying around the house, just, thanks. Alright, so after using this board for just over a month, I personally feel like there are 3 areas it could be improved. And if these changes were to be made, I honestly believe it would become the ultimate MIDI keyboard controller. So, number 1, the keys. Like I said before, this is totally subjective, and you may feel that they are perfect the way they are, so cool. However, I think it would be much better if they put the keybed from the Nord stage line into this Mark II, which I found out is a slightly different version of FATAR keyboard. Okay, so number 2 are the faders. Now the faders are great, don't get me wrong, and for me it's probably more of a personal preference, but I would love to see some LED indicators below or beside the faders. It would give you a really quick snapshot of the current settings of the faders, especially if you like to use faders to control organ drawbars, or if you change patches a lot and don't want to have to keep referring back to the screen of the laptop. Now one thing to say is you can alter how the faders react by going into the MIDI control center and changing the mode to the pickup mode. That means your sound won't jump as you move the fader. But I still just love an LED, so. Number 3. This is definitely like a dream request, but I would love to see an audio interface in this keyboard. It would be so awesome if all I needed for a gig was my laptop, my keyboard, and one USB cable that ran between them. And then the sound guy can just plug in a stereo pair of XLRs straight to the keyboard. No other fuss, no other extra stuff to set up. It would be awesome. I think a lot of keyboard players would really appreciate something like that. So that's it everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, then comment below and let me know what your favourite feature of the board is. So there we go guys, that's it. If you've made it this far, then comment below and let me know what your favourite feature of the keyboard is. And why not make sure that you're subscribed and hit that notification bell to get all of my videos as soon as they drop. One last thing to say again is a huge thank you to Arturia for sending me this keyboard to review. I really appreciate you guys supporting smaller channels like mine. Until the next time guys, thank you so much.